I think the first thing that comes to mind is our team's intent to turn around from a match yesterday. We talked a lot about that. I challenged the girls to just take some ownership and make sure we recover. And I think you can clearly see it in their behaviors and just how they approach today. So just props to them. Of course, amazing level of volleyball to play against Austin. And it's really fun because also I've coached a lot of the girls across the net too. And then a lot of familiar faces. So I think for a lot of reasons, but even just for our sport, that was a pretty fun match. And I don't know, I feel like I'm just kind of happy to be here and I get to coach these girls and coach against really great players and also coach against great coaches. So just a lot of gratitude. Of course, coming out on top, it's always like that, but just kind of props for the turnaround for us.
Roni, I mean, it's early and you're going to play everybody again and again. You guys needed this one, didn't you?
Yeah, I don't necessarily think we needed a win. I think we needed to come out and fight the way that we did. So I'm proud of us for, like Tama said, being able to turn around and come back out today and play with a lot of heart and a lot of fight throughout a tough match against a really good team.
Was that your best match?
If you think so, it felt really good. No, it felt really good to just go out there and play. I think we did a really good job after yesterday, just like Thomas said, taking some ownership, and we wanted to come out there and fight, and I think we did that today.
Logan was in here earlier, and you and she were positioned against each other so much in this match.
Mm-hmm.
There had to be some amusing things said, or at least,
Yeah, for sure. It was super fun to be matched up against her, just playing together for so many years and then finally getting to compete against one another. It was really fun. I think we were going back and forth with one another, and that's what made it really fun. We were having a blast, but hey, I love the competition. We're both getting better from playing against each other.
That on the winning side. That on the winning.
What you took to the point, that you needed this one. It wasn't like make or break, but, your team rallied. Yesterday, the last thing you said was, hey, we got to play at 4:30 tomorrow afternoon. But, here you were, and you're down, and big comeback, and then the way it exploded out of the start of the fifth set had to make you very happy.
Yeah, I was just really proud of the buy-in, hey, here's a plan. Coach is throwing a challenge at us. And what are we going to do, And, ultimately, even if I have the best idea in the world, the players have to do the work too. And so you just try to facilitate some good direction, and hopefully, they do their part and it comes together. So that's always really fun, of course. And I think they were you could feel the intent of what they were doing today, even without them talking or anything, but a lot of good body language. And that was a big thing we talked about. I didn't even know how many hours ago this morning in our film session. So, yeah.
And Coach, you look amazingly calm on the sideline. Do you practice that, or is that just years of Zen?
First, thank you. I work really hard at it. I think it comes from playing and knowing that as a player, you're the one out there calling all the shots and doing all things. So if a coach is just all rattled, then that doesn't really help. So I try to stay forward thinking and calm as much as possible, but also try to celebrate and do all the things. So I think credit also to just the staffs I've been on and some of these big time matches that I've got to coach in. And also just kind of staying grounded and it's a sport and we're all in this, and even these girls, I'm sure we're just so in it. And so someone to just look over to the side and see a little bit of calm, I think is always helpful.
Scott, I just want to ask, what is your vertical? Because you were, oh my gosh, you were so high up over the net today.
I know I can almost touch 11 feet, so.
See, that's amazing.
Tell me, you're 4 weeks in, and is it pretty safe to say you've set an understanding with your team that anybody can play at any time in any position. I mean, like Roni served for a middle, I think, if I'm not mistaken, in the first set, and then finished the match. And it seemed too like you were looking for anything and everything tonight, especially early.
Yeah, I think that when I try to communicate to my team, I try to have a consistent message of like everybody needs to be ready, and we have the pieces to do that. So I think a lot of our girls have played, and so one way to think about the game is just how quickly can you pick the lock, and sometimes it takes 4 people off our bench to do that, and we're gonna do it because there's really no point in being so stubborn as a coach when you have like amazing athletes on the bench. So I think that's a really cool part about League One is you look at everyone's starters and you look down the bench, you're like, wow, like a lot of people can contribute. So I think I try to remind them of that, and hopefully actions speak for themselves, and people know they're just one little call away from contributing.
How good did you go today on your bench?
We had a couple serving subs. We played 3 out of the 4 middles. Both setters, both opposites. So we're playing with 1 libero today. One had to stay home because they got sick. So it's a very much a team contribution with Salt Lake.
Congratulations, ladies.
Can I ask one question really quick? Sorry. One of the players, Jordan, pulled you guys aside like after the win. What was the message that she said in the huddle?
She told us that she's proud of our team for the turnaround that we had, and that this is something that we're going to be able to pull from in the future and take confidence from the grit that we had out on the court today.